Excuse me.
You ready, Jamel?
Ready, ready. Yeah.
Very small.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody in the internets that are present with us this evening. Wow, I want to first give love and respect to our live performers this evening, giving up respect to Xavion Jesus
Yes.
Sanchez. That young man, I'm telling you, yeah, Eric was saying during the break, he was able to do that about 20 years ago, man. I swear that kid is like a rubber band. He's a rubber band. He's so flexible. And also to Solange Claus for those wonderful, beautiful words, love and respect, peace and blessings, everybody. Welcome. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to the Harlem Film House, to the Hip Hop Film Festival for sponsoring today's event. You all had a chance to, an opportunity to watch RoundTable, and this is our Q&A. I have a wonderful panel with us this evening. We have the writer and star, Mark Gutierrez. We have Eric McKay. We have Felicia, and we have Shaquilla Goodman in the building. Yes, 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 yes. I'm so excited. I hope you all are excited. You will have an opportunity to answer questions. So please make sure you pop those questions in the chat for our writer, director, and the cast. Okay, so getting started. Man, Mr. Mark Gutierrez. This film is so fantastic. And one of the major things that I love about this film is your use of personification to tell the story. Humanizing these social constructs that plague or divide the Black community. So, two-part question, Mark. Why was it important for you to tackle these issues? And how did it come about using this literary device of personification to help tell your story?
Well, first of all, thank you for being here and being the moderator for this one. Well, I felt like this story needed to be told because we always, we want justice for ourselves, right? But we can't really move forward if we don't fix within ourselves too, in our own community. And I feel like we have our own civil wars where we're dealing with ourselves with all the stereotypes. Like we don't look at ourselves as just one whole community. We see ourselves in different parts of like we're light skinned, we're dark skinned, we're ratchet, we're this, we're that, we're that. But we never say we're Black, we're together. We never have that. And I felt like that's a conversation that we need to have in the Black community. Like we all need to come together and focus what we need to do to work together instead of working individually. And the second part was I just had this idea where we're just like, I was watching Richard Pryor stand up, Dave Chappelle stand up, and they always say there's truth in comedy. For us Black folks, sometimes we can't hear the truth. Sometimes we have to mixture with comedy for us to understand it and digest it properly. So I was like, you know what? Let's have this serious conversation, but at the same time, make it a little bit comical so people can actually think and be like, you know what? He's right. I was laughing, but this is actually truth that I need to listen to and move forward with.
Absolutely. I'm a big believer in that when you get your audience the opportunity to laugh and open up their mouths to laugh, you open up their minds to think, and, a lot of great comedies and storytelling has that aspect, that you laugh and then you find you're like, oh, wait a minute, there's some truth to this, right? There's always truth to some comedy, right? So yeah, wonderful, using that device, man, to tell the story. So actors, We have Eric McKay and Felicia and Shaquilla. Opening up to you actors, where did you draw from to create these characters, and which character are you most like?
Wow.
Because I could tell you, there's some aspects, man, that I found that I was like, well, I'm a little ditty, uppity rather, and I'm a little bit blackhead, and then there's a little bit of street in me too, so all mixed in one. So
I'll let the ladies
how
go
were you able to
first.
draw from those characters?
I'll let the ladies go first.
Oh, okay, I'll go first. Hi everyone, I'm Felicia. So I play Head Queen. If you recognize me without the head wrap, but I grew from that character. I've taken African dance class since I was like 5. So most of the women who taught me were kind of like this Mother Earth kind of character. But I also really drew from my grandmother. She's very like spiritual and grounded and always about love and the Black woman's body, etc. But who I identify with, honestly, I as you can see, like Ratchet. I'm not even gonna lie. Sometimes I'm Ratchet, and then sometimes I'm the Black woman. So, like you said, there's kind of like, you're like, oh, the code switching thing. But I definitely loved Ratchet's character. I'm like, yeah, sometimes that's me.
What about you?
It's my go.
Yes,
Hi.
you
So hold on, give me 2 seconds. I realize where I am. These people are a little
See,
loud.
Shakilla played woke, but I don't know. Tonight she's a little ratchet tonight. But no,
She playing ratchet tonight. She's taking notes. She took notes.
If I had to be completely honest, I identify with all of them. I'm going to piggyback off of you, Felicia. I was raised by really strong Black women, but I was also have a huge sense of humor. I do believe that there's a little bit of all of those women in all of us. So for me personally, I identify with all of them. Woke. Funny enough, I think now in this stage of my life, I identify with woke. Very aware of the things going on around me. Very aware of the things going on within my culture. And I, to be really honest, I was kind of honored to play her because I was like, oh, I don't get to show this side of me too often because I'm usually laughing, joking, being ratchet. So it was kind of honored to play woke. So I'm gonna say I identify with woke the most, except for today.
Indeed. Indeed, you ladies played wonderful. You did. I mean, the nuances in your performances and the detail were just, exceptional, as well as you, Mr. Eric McKay. So do you identify with Head Black or any other characters in the...
Now, it took me a while to figure out who I was going to draw from, but then it was easy because I'm representing the community. And the community that I picked was our civil rights leaders, the ones who've been in the fight, who've been in the struggle, and they're looking like they still doing that, like your Elijah Cummings, and John Lewis. So that's where that whole persona is, just to be still and calm, but bark when you need to bark.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much where I drew all that from for Head Black.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. And it was wonderful how even Mark and the other collaborators even, incorporated Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King's speech at the end, that kind of just, brings it all home, and one other thing too, I liked about it is like that the film tackles these issues, but then yet it leaves hope, Like I even saw a Black woman and Ratchet, come to an agreement at the end, and to an understanding. And then even then, when you saw, I think it was Hood, wasn't really coming there, but the streets was like, look, man, it took off his mask and was like, no, respect the Black queen, respect Black magic when she's speaking, what I mean? So that there's checks and balances. You know what I'm saying? And so that it takes a village, and it takes a community. And we saw that in the screenplay. And so that was what was so powerful, that it just didn't leave us hopeless, and that that there's better things to come, in the horizon. So, I thought it was interesting, and that Mr. Pinckney directed the film, having worked with Spike Lee, and part of it reminded me, that some of these issues and topics were talked about in school days. You know what I mean? Especially the light and the black. You're nothing but a jigaboo.
Good hair, bad hair.
And
right.
Good hair, bad hair. And I mean, and that was what, 1988. And then here we are in 2020, still tackling and battling these same issues. You know what I mean? And then the piggyback off of what you were saying, Mark, that it was just imperative, even more so now that we are coming into our civil rights movement, of our generation, that we need to still talk about these and unite on a front before then we can face systematic racism and and prejudice and police brutality, because united we can't be divided.
I mean,
so that was very
absolutely.
Yeah,
I was just,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying because
Mark.
even in the film, it's the title is called RoundTable, like in King Arthur, where everyone's created equally. But if you look in the film, we're not sitting at a round table. We're still divided. Like you still have a leader, you still have people separated in their own ways. And a lot of people didn't realize that, because that's how we are. We're supposed to be united, and the title wants us to be united, but individually we have our own battles. So
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, Mark, it was a short film, but there was so much packed into this film that, I mean, I don't know. I see so much, man. I mean, I see feature film, I see series, I see Netflix, I see it all, man. So please let us know, what is the future for RoundTable, brother?
Well, if you want to know the original RoundTable short film is actually 32 minutes. We cut down a lot of stuff out of that short film. So if I could do the extended version of that, I definitely would do that. But my goal right now is the series, to have like a Netflix or Hulu series, or any kind of series, any kind of platform, where it's like we're following the characters before they get to the meeting. So everyone has their individual story before they lead up to the meeting. So basically that is just like the prequel to everything else.
Oh, that's fascinating, man. I can see so many storylines. We got Black Magic and Head Black and Woke, and then following their storylines all the way up into that meeting, and learning and intersecting and dissecting, what makes them be who they are, you know what I mean? And those constructs within our society. So yeah, man. Wow. Mr. McKay, I mean, when you watch the film, and or even being within the process, what do you want people to take away from Head Black or the film, or what's the message?
But just basically, just like Mark said, it's like we got to fix ourselves within before we can go outside and say, okay, we're going to take care of this business. No one can divide us, no matter how much money you want to offer that person. No, they're not going to take it, because they with us. They can grow better with us than with anybody else. But they just people just got to take away from this. Like, we got to fix within ourselves and fix in our community. Once we do that, sky's the limit.
Yeah. And also, too, a question for you, Felicia, playing Black Magic, the Black Queen. Oftentimes, we're dealing right now in our society where Black women are feeling undervalued, but then we know that that's not necessarily the case. And I just loved in the screenplay how she was described as the protector, and we know that Black women play have a valuable presence within our community. I mean, look, they in terms of the voting blocks, in terms of the Black women are graduating from many universities and institutions by the droves, So what was it important for you to get across as the character of Black woman to the audience?
I think for me, it was more of, like you said, like Mark said, everyone has their own individual battles, but just to remember, like I said before, I was raised by a grandma. There's always like that strong Black woman in your family. And it's almost like that person can also be your conscience. So it's kind of like, you know, what's right from wrong. So I think I wanted to portray not just the whole protection, but like love, but hard love. So, you know, like when you got in trouble by your mom or your grandmother, they were telling you like it is. But sometimes you didn't like what they had to say, but it was true. So that
Or
was
go
what
get that
I was
switch.
really trying to portray, because that's what it really is. It's always, when you're younger, of course, you don't realize, and then years pass, you're like, dang, she was right. Like, you know, my mother was right. My grandmother was right. So that was what I was trying to portray as coming through as head queen. But you're so right. The Black woman is very strong, but also very underappreciated, as far as the least protected. But right now, we are the number one in small Black businesses. We are the number one with degrees, like you said. Our votes matter, everything. And it was an honor to play this role when Mark asked me after, which that was like a couple of back and forth, but to be this person in this role, I definitely was like, this is amazing. This is a role that I definitely will hold near and dear to my heart, I feel like.
Well, you certainly embodied it. Just to see you now and then to see the character, you know what I mean? And I'm sure there's essence of the character within you, but it's like a completely transformation. I mean, you know, it's so good to see, you know. Woke. I mean, you talked about see, look, I'm already calling you by your character, Woke. Look at that, Shaquilla. You talked about playing Woke. I mean, how interesting and important was it to play Woke in this particular time? Now I know this was probably shot before George Floyd and what have you, right? But but we can still name them off, right? You know what I mean? Castillo, you know what I mean? And the list goes on. Eric Gardner, you know what I mean? So how was it important for you to play this, this role and to get this message of woke out?
First of all, when I was asked to play Woke, I was beyond honored, right? And let me just start here by apologizing for the noise. I'm actually in the middle of celebrating with the crew, so I'm working on a project and like in the middle. But I said I had to be here because this part, first of all, Black RoundTable means a lot to me. And being able to be a part of this meant a lot, and being woke meant a lot because I think one of the biggest problems that we have just as a collective, as brown people, is accountability and taking accountability for ourselves in terms of uniting. And playing woke is just like, once you get this knowledge, once you get this information, once you can't hide anymore, what do we do now? What do we do next? And I felt like being able to play her, well, I feel like she was kind of androgynous in the same breath, because to be woke is just to me, it's to obtain information and empower your people, right? I don't think there's necessarily a gender on that. I feel like knowledge is knowledge, right? But I personally, with what's going on in the world, I think we're at a place where we can't ignore what's happening anymore. It's time to wake up. It's time to move forward as a unit, as a community, as a collective, and understand that we're valuable, understand that we have worth, understand that we are powerful, beautiful people, and that it's time for us to live in that, right? Um, so playing woke for me was just, I was honored, because I preach daily, constantly to everybody that listen. It's like, hey, once you know, you know. And once you know, you're accountable. And you're accountable to share the information and move it and pay it forward. So I hope that people see this, they understand, and they take the knowledge that they learned from this, because that's include humor. But it's also, I mean, there were so many gems in this film. So I really hope that, playing woke allow people to wake up. So that's kind of my take on it.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. You did a fabulous job. I just want to remind all of the viewers, please drop those questions in the chat so that I can ask the cast and creators I am so excited to have Mr. Michael Boogie Pinkney in the building, ladies and gentlemen, the director of RoundTable. Yes, yes. Show the brother some love. Yes, sir. How are you
Hey
doing this
guys,
evening,
sorry
sir?
I'm late.
Oh man, you're right on time, brother. You're right on time. Yo, I was just speaking earlier because I know that you've worked quite a bit with Mr. Spike Lee, and a lot of the themes that were in the screenplay reminded me of some of the conversations that were in School Days. You know, a film that was in 1988, and here we are in 2020, still having those same conversations.
Right.
Yeah. So, Mr. Boogie, what drew you to this play, to the screenplay, and what made you sign on and say, yes, 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 I have to direct this?
I think first with Mark's passion for the project. He courted me he wanted me to do the project, and we went back and forth for a minute, but he was so passionate about the project. The project was so topical. It was very interesting. One room, with all of these cinematic challenges, with this script, just the number of pages, how many actors in the room. So, I've always wanted to do a film that takes place in one room. So I was like, that's fascinating. The conversation that they're having is fascinating, to be able to say the things that you want to say in a satirical way, was very funny. And just, I don't do a lot of comedy, so I really love that aspect of it. But Mark really was the real selling point for me coming on board, to do the project.
Yes, man. The passion that Mark has, man, it's infectious.
Yeah.
Certainly.
I think
I'll just let you know there was.
Don't say it, Mark.
Now I was gonna say there was a lot of courting. There was a lot of courting, boy. I did take Boogie out, boy. Get a couple of drinks and be like, yo, Boogie, come on, man.
He's a busy man, so that's why I was like,
timing is everything.
Yeah.
Timing is everything. I think. But I think the planets typically align. When people are supposed to work together. We worked together before. Now we work together 3 times. We worked on 3 films together.
I mean, so my thing was when I wrote it, I remember being on set for the first time on Boogie's project, and I saw the way he was directing. So when I wrote RoundTable, I always had Boogie in mind because he always has the things like, oh, that's not funny. Nah, black people won't say that. Oh, they'll say this. They'll say that. And I'd be like, okay, I need that because he sees things or hear things that I probably know. And he's like, gives me that feedback. But just to see him actually watch him and he'll look at me on set and be like, I got this. Just go memorize your lines. I'd be like, I know everybody's lines. Like, I know everybody's lines. But it was just to see his passion was like, I was like, man, I can just let him do what he has to do and I don't have to worry about it. And it was just an honor just for him to say he'll do it, but just to actually work with him is also honor too as well, because if you've never been on set with Boogie, man, you like you see the passion that he has in shooting everything, making sure everything is correct and on point and on site, because he ain't gonna put his name on anything. So he's making sure that whatever's dropping out is gonna be some fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So I want to add, what about this cast? I mean, how did this wonderful cast come about? Because everybody played their role to the T. How did you form this cast?
This cast came about. I don't know if you remember Directors Actors Gym back in the days. Miles Maker.
Yeah.
Okay. So you gotta realize most of these people, if they ain't from DAG, they're probably spirited actors, and people that I already work with. So it's like all these characters, I already had their minds when I wrote them. And the character that I was playing, I was supposed to be light skinned, but the character I'm playing, Uppity, was supposed to be played by the late and great Siddiqui, and he was supposed to play the Uppity role. And me and him spoke about that because he always plays these, nice roles and these kids roles. And I was like, yo, it'd be mad funny if you talking about ratchet sex. I think people would like, whoa, Siddiqui talking about ratchet sex. And that would have been comical. So but when he passed away, I kind of put the project on pause, and I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to do it anymore because he's not in it. But I was like, you know what? Let me play his role, and then give this role to Michael Eric, which I got to play. I got to do a short with him called Stupid Cupid, and I realized like, oh, this dude has every characteristic of a light skinned dude. You know, always licking his lips, always in his emotional feelings. I'm like, this is perfect. I was like, dude. I was like, let me holler at you real quick. Like, yo, I wrote this thing. I know. Well, he was supposed to be on here, but I don't know what to tell him. But he's probably doing light skin stuff right now. But no, I realized that like he was perfect. So it's like everyone that's part of this cast is people that I met and work with, and I saw their hustle, and I saw their grind, and I saw their talent, and I was like, yo, putting all these people in a great room. And also I got Ephraim too. And if y'all know Ephraim, he's a hard brother to get. Like he's everywhere. And when he said he was available for one day, I was like, yo, that's the one day that I need. And then that was it.
Yeah, and just to explain to everybody, Director Actors Jim was a conglomerate of actors and directors and producers and casting directors that all came and met up like I think it was every other weekend, and we would go there to just flex our muscles. We would get screenplays and work on those screenplays, work with scene partners, and then present them every weekend in front of a casting director or a director in the business, in the industry. And so it created a wonderful community in which a lot of actors were able to network and socialize, and from it create projects and meet people and create wonderful screenplays like RoundTable. And so, much respect.
They have that now. If you want to ask, there's something called Act Up that Shaquala does now. It's another version of it too as well, where you can ask her and ask her a couple questions because she hosts something called Act Up. It's like almost like Directors Actors Gym, but it's a place where actors can flex their muscles too as well. So I don't know if anybody's heard about it, but I know Shaquala, she can definitely testify to it too as well.
I haven't heard what's going on.
Yeah. Shaquala, give us the insight. Let us know.
All I know is like, yeah.
Oh, you're muted.
She on mute.
Mm-hmm. She on mute.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you get too lit.
You can't hear me. You can't hear her.
She's finding it. We're looking. Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
My phone is wigging out. I'm so sorry, Mark.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I see what you did there. I see what you did.
Little shameless plug.
So let me be abundantly clear. So Hip Hop Film Festival CR, the owner creator of Hip Hop Film Festival, Harlem Film House. She created Act Up, and she allowed me to come on board and be the managing producer for it. And it's been an amazing year. Act Up is basically where it's live table reads, is where table reads come to life, and it also allows new screenwriters as well as seasoned screenwriters to come and work out their scripts. And when I tell you the performances that have come across that stage have been by far, hands down, some of the best performances I've seen in a really long time. So when CR presented it to me and I saw it at her third year of the Hip Hop Film Festival, I was like, this is really dope. And she launched it that year. And, me and her were talking, and she was like, listen, I think I want to do this monthly. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. And I'm going to be a part of. And so it was her, me, Vanessa King, and Marissa Kennedy, and the four of us just kind of like buckled down. And we was like, okay, how are we going to make this happen? Let's make it happen. And, Vanessa and Marissa come from Final Draft, and Final Draft is one of actor sponsors. And, for me, I came in and I was like, well, I know all these amazing actors. I know a lot of great celebrity actors, and I was like, listen, let's bring them all in. This is something, first of all, this is something that's for us. You can go downtown and you can find these things you can find these things downtown, midtown, but you don't find them in our community. So it was just really, really amazing to be able to say, hey, come to Harlem and have this experience. Come to Harlem and meet other like-minded actors, screenwriters, producers, directors, investors. And when I tell you, some of the projects that have come out of ACT UP have been amazing. So I don't know if I'm really answering it. I'm a fan of it. So I'm a part of it. And
How can the viewers find out more information about it?
if you go to Hip Hop Film Festival, hiphop.com, Hip Hop Film Festival, NYC.com, you can sign up, you can read all about it. Follow Hip Hop Film Festival. I suggest everyone to follow Hip Hop Film Festival. Anything that you want to know in regards to acting, screenwriting, producing, bringing your projects to life, Hip Hop Film Festival is exactly where you need to be. So if you want to sign up, go to Hip Hop Film Festival.
All right. You want to sign up? You heard Shakila. You want to sign up? Go to Hip Hop Film Festival, NYC. All right. And get all the information. Sign up for Acting Up.
Yes.
All
and guys,
all right.
I don't wanna continue to be ratchet. I'm very thankful for y'all allowing me to be a part of this. I'm gonna go, and I love all of you. Mark, thank you. Boogie, thank you. Felicia, Eric, y'all are rock, y'all awesome. Thank you for allowing me to be part of this cast. I love y'all.
Love you too. Keep working, girl. Keep working.
Yes.
Man.
Thank you,
Bye,
Shakila,
y'all.
for joining us. Thank you so much.
And can I just tell Mark publicly, Mark, I want to thank you, man, for including me into this project. Because I remember when you told me, he said, man, I need you to be in this project, man. It's just your demeanor. Your demeanor. I was like, well, I look mean? I look that bad? I got the perfect role for you. I try to lighten up my life. I try to lighten up my life when I can.
Yeah. But yo, that's a testament to your acting ability, Eric. I mean, you play a range. I've seen your work, brother, and you play a range of characters, man. So you know what I mean. It's in you, and I mean, you embodied Head Black, brother. You know what I mean, because you do. You have this sort of, even in your everyday life, this sort of sage, this wisdom about you and your presence, you know what I mean? As well as you can bust it up and have fun, you know what I mean? And so, there's a spectrum of Eric McKay. He's just not monolithic. He's not one note, you know what I mean? So it came through.
I'm that guy, like, don't mess with me. I got a community behind me.
Right. So Boogie, man, I was talking to Mark earlier. I was saying, man, it was so much in the short, and I knew at one time he was telling us that it was about 32 minutes that was cut down to 18. But man, how we can follow all of these characters, and Mark was explaining to us that the vision, is to follow these characters all the way up into this round table, and so that just leads for a plethora of stories.
One day.
Wow. So what do you think, you know what I'm saying, is the future for RoundTable? Where would you like it to go?
Me and Mark had a conversation, but I think it could be, you seeing the characters in their worlds, whether you kind of start with, there's different types of schools of thought, whether you end this meeting at the end of the season, or you start the season with it, and then you got introduced to all the characters, and now you see them in their own respective worlds trying to do what Head Black said to do, and don't, in their communities, in their respective communities. I think it's something there. It's a great way to kind of make political statements in a satirical way. You can almost say anything and kind of get away with it. So I think topical in terms of where we are now, the type of TV shows that have to be made have to be different. They have to say something, and they have to be unapologetically Black, which I think, RoundTable is.
Yeah. And there's room for it. You know what I mean? I feel like TV is starving for it. I mean, we see these opportunities. We see, shows like, Watchmen and, Lovecraft Country, that are speaking about these issues and are unapologetically Black, and aren't afraid to have these conversations, because that's, for us to move forward, we have to be uncomfortable.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, we have to be comfortable, rather, having these uncomfortable conversations.
Right.
You know, and so that's the beauty about these piece. You know, this piece is putting it out there.
Right.
And yes, it's satirical and it's funny. You know, but like I was telling Mark, you know, when you open up folks' mouth to laugh, you open up their minds to think.
Right. Right. That's what makes the comedian.
Yeah.
It's Chris Rock
Dave Chappelle or Dave Chappelle or
Dave Chappelle. That's what makes it so genius, because it's kind of, it ultimately makes us think, you know, in a different way. You know, he says it in the it's kind of like Malcolm X. Some of his best speeches, it was funny because it was so on point. You're like, damn, that's funny, but it's kind of fucked up. You know, it's like those are those moments. And I think this, you know, this show is gonna write itself with the world being the world. What's coming. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to find a way to laugh at the shit that's coming, because it ain't gonna be pretty. You know, so I think it's a great platform to be able to do that.
It's like what they say, right? You gotta, you know, laugh to keep from crying sometimes, you know. Laugh to keep from crying.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, these are some really hard times that we're seeing. You know, we talk about the civil rights movement never went away. You know, it's still here. You know, the Civil War is still going on. We thought that ended. It's still here. You know, and so I just advise whoever you vote for, vote. You know, I mean, I know who I'm voting for, but it's imperative. I know who I'm voting. It ain't Carrot Top. You know, but it's just important for all of us to get out and vote, and and make our voices heard. You know, certainly. So, Mr. Mark, man, congratulations, brother. I just can't wait to see the next life for RoundTable, the possibilities, and we talked about them today. And I'm just excited for it to come into fruition, man. Do you want to leave us with anything?
I mean, first off, I just want to thank everybody that was a part of this. Like working one day, cramming down the whole script in one day. We had like 9 hours, and at a fancy hotel where we can't even drink coffee. We have to drink it outside. We can't even drink it inside the hotel. We have to eat lunch in their own cafeteria. We can't eat lunch anywhere else. Like, we had like every Karen watching us. Like, what's going on over here? What's going on over here?
Bunch of black people. What are they doing?
Bunch of black people at a table. I knew
at a table. What's going on?
Black people had a meeting. They met every Friday. They talked about all the issues.
Yeah,
they sang the national anthem.
Yeah, but see, the thing that made us work is like we were all dressed in suits, except like Hood and Streets. Everybody was dressed smooth, so they can't really mad about it. But nah, it's like working with them was amazing. Like working with like people that are my best friends, just definitely like was just amazing feeling to me to write something and then them being a part of it is amazing. And then being part of the Hip Hop Film Festival too was another amazing accomplishment, because I remember last year I was trying to get into the Hip Hop Film Festival just to be as a guest, and there was a security guard who was like, "Oh, you're not on the list, you can't come in." I was like, "All right, cool." And I just remember I was seeing Tony Clomax because he had a film in there, and he was like, "Oh, yo, just come in." I was like, "They won't let me in because I'm not on the list." He's like, "Really?" And everybody had passes and badges. I was like, "Yo, one of these days, man, I'm gonna be in that film festival. I'm gonna have my badge too." And then I got in, and then Rona hit, and I was like, "Damn, I didn't get my pass badge. I didn't get all that."
Send that man a pass.
Yo, but I got
honorary pass. They gotta send your honorary pass.
But I got to be a part of this experience, though. But I got to be part of this virtual experience. Like, it was great. The ciphers were great. A couple of I know I missed a couple of things, but I know the things that I got to be a part of was amazing. So just to be an opportunity to actually have my film accepted to it was an amazing accomplishment. But I never forget the day when that security guard was like, "Yo, your name's not on the list. You can't come in." So I wish I could meet that same security guard. Be like, "Yo, my post is outside. That's me right there. That's me." So yeah.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it showing that grit, man. He said, yeah, I'm gonna get in here, man. I'm gonna make me a
Yeah.
film. I'm gonna get my pass and I'm gonna walk through those doors. And
Yeah,
here we are, man.
If anybody wants to check me out, you can hit up on the Instagram black_roundtable on IG, and then if you're trying to hit me up, it's MG World, MG the actor. No, MG World. My bad. That's my Twitter. Twitter is Mark G MG the actor. My IG is gonna be MG World if you want to hit me up on IG. And black_roundtable if you want to continue to follow the Roundtable short film progress.
Awesome. Well, thank you, folks. Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you so much, Michael, Boogie Pinkney, Felicia, Mr. Eric McKay. I want to thank the Harlem Film House and the Hip Hop Festival NYC for having us this evening. And I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Once again, I want to thank Xavion Jesus Sanchez, dancing it up. Man, I want to be that young man when I grow up. And I want to thank Solange. Man, I'm telling you, that young man. And I want to thank Solange Claus for her wonderful poetry and sharing her words with us this evening. My name is Jamil A.C. Mangan, and I'm your moderator for this evening, signing off. Thank you all. Have a blessed night. Wash your hands. Wear your mask.
And
all right.
vote.
And vote. And vote.
Vote.
Thank you.
Don't forget to vote. Vote.
Yes, yes.
Vote.